And I think everybody can see the area there on the stream where you can submit your questions if you got any concerns. And we was hoping to have some people here that had new questions and concerns. Not saying people here don't have questions and concerns, but we definitely want to address anything new that's tangible. And I don't want to get on my red thing today, but the thing that I'm getting like the commission. But the one thing that we really want to do is kind of move away from the same 10 discussions that continue to be on social media. And I answered those today. I answered them probably over 100 times now throughout the last 3 years. And we got a commission now that's trying to work together, and we just want to be addressing tangible concerns and issues from the public. And then they're gonna, once they get those issues, then they will direct me and we'll try to correct them. But it's hard as we keep getting pulled back into the same stuff. I guess I'll talk about some things, and let me stop here. Does anybody else got any comments right now? We got a few people in the room, but they attend the meetings and they always ask questions and they always send questions. I'm not sure if they got any other questions, but if you would like to, you can take the podium and we can have any discussion you want to. And if we don't get anybody that has any questions or that come in through social media, I'll just cover a few points and we can all go to First Friday. I just want to make this available to those individuals who feel like they're not being heard. And I'm not sure why, and I'll touch on that here in a little bit, unless we have anybody got any questions in the room. Does anybody want to say anything? Questions, concerns, statements? All right. So, something's coming up now. I answered one question that came up today, and I've discussed my salary a few times already, so I'm getting kind of, it's getting difficult to keep going on that. But I'll just make the analogy of, if you're talking about roles and levels of responsibility towards the city, me and the high school football coach, we make the same amount of money. I'm just gonna throw it out there as a comparison. And I think we might do is just post the role responsibility. And I'm not trying to call the coach out. I do think football is important and coaching is very important. But just at the levels of responsibility of what we're getting paid for in the city, to provide oversight of all the essential services provided by the city, police, fire, public works, things of that nature, as well as the budget of the city. I just think that's got more responsibility tied to it. And that's kind of what generates my salary, being the market. I've already addressed, I haven't asked for a raise. I never given myself a raise, so I don't want to go on that road. But the commission do determine my salary, and it's based off my performance as far as executing their guidance and as far as the budget and then the operation of the city. So that's one thing. To further explain that, the reason we have a city, a council manager position or setup is because in the early 1900s, 1900s, when we just had what they call a strong mayor, you had one person pretty much all the authority level of the city. And even with the council members, the turnover rate between council members, you always have somebody new coming on, and it takes a little bit of a learning curve to understand how to be a commissioner. I mean, just being frank with everybody. So when you're doing that and everybody has their different agendas, but you still have one person who really has all the authority, sometimes corruption can happen. Not sometimes, a lot of times it happens. So what they were trying to do is go to a more business-like model, where you had an independent person, like if you look at a board, like a CCO or CEO, that reports to a board, they went that direction. And ideally, you would like the city man or the manager to come from outside of the community, so some of that interaction is less. And that's how we kind of got to the manager, because I see a question about that, why we have a manager council. You got to that. It has proven to cut down on corruption. As an example, I'm not from Waycross. I don't know as many people here, or I'm not as tied to as many people here as some of the other people that are in leadership. So it does allow me to be more, neutral in many cases. But again, in this setup, I do have a boss, and the boss is going to be the commission. And they're going to set policy and legislative, and then I'm going to in turn execute that policy through providing essential services. So that's why we have the manager council setup. Anybody got a question in the room about that? I'm just looking just to make sure I explain that correctly. All right. And again, my intent tonight was to come here. Well, I do see one question. Let me. All right, so this is a question about my contract. So, and again, yeah. So my contract is a 3-year contract. $110,000. I do have a stipend for my vehicle maintenance. The stipend is supposed to cover my insurance and my gas. And I think right now, you know, we all know how the gas is right now, so they ain't going too far. But that covers that. I get evaluated. Technically, I get evaluated every year. And technically, the commission, if they choose so, even outside of my 3 years, they could remove me. And it's various ways to do that. You know, that will be an option. But if they did remove me early, then my contract has things in there that, you know, I would get, I think it's a year's salary if I got removed early, something like that. Well, that's really it. And again, I really want to focus on tangible stuff because I'm not sure how that question helps out the community exactly. If you do have a problem, again with me, the best way to fix that and something tangible, then go talk to your commissioner, or like you could be here right now. We could talk about it right now, and we can figure it out. But definitely talk to your commissioner, but give them something tangible because I don't like City Manager Rayford, or I don't like the way things are going. That's very, very difficult to fix. It's impossible to fix. And you know, I speak for the commission on that. Even sometimes, you know, I know they get frustrated with those type of questions because what are we trying to, what can we address if you don't like the way things are going? So again, if you got something tangible, man, please share it. And then, like I said, when you share something, you know, if you can provide a solution, that would be appreciated as well. Because we love community solutions. We get a lot of good community solutions. Matter of fact, everything we've done thus far has been based off of community feedback. I don't think it's one problem that if we've trying to think of something we just come off the top of our heads with. For the most part, you know, we get community feedback and guidance from the community, and then we implement it. Now, in some cases, there's some legal matters associated with it. We can't do it that way. But for the most part, community is involved. Even today, I was going to ask everybody to come in here and sit down. You can't see it, but we have 2 sections. Those who have been to 10 meetings and those who have not. Because the ones that have come to at least 10 meetings, they pretty much can answer everything that's going on in the city right now. They know which roads are getting paved, all our construction projects. They know our finances better than we do, you know, in a lot of cases, you know, on our taxes, which is a great thing. Those that don't come, and because you subscribe to other ways of information, you're probably going to get the wrong information. That's what I want to cut down from, because again, it's almost impossible to just continuously try to run behind misinformation. I'm going to use the word lie because I have to use strong language so everybody kind of really, it resonates with folks. If you're going to keep spreading the lie, there's no way for us to, you know, to counter that. It's just going to keep going. So, and again, I didn't anticipate getting too many people coming in tonight. Let me say this too. So Facebook is not designed to be our primary means of communication. There's no way to do that. A lot of cities don't even have active Facebook account. We one of the few that do, and we did have the comments open for a long time. And I don't want to go too far down that road about the comment section again. But you know, it's just for us sharing information, updates, policy concerns, things of that nature. The primary means of communication is going to always be your commissioner. They have phones, they have emails. It's 24/7, you know, but you can contact them, and then they give you the guidance. That's the primary means, and coming to meetings. And these meetings are archived, so you can go back and look at these meetings, and then you know you can send in your requests. But Facebook is not some open forum requirement for a city to have. It's not even a requirement to have a Facebook account for the cities. We choose to do so because, like I said, when I first got here, I wanted to really, you know, provide updates, and I still do. But again, it got increasingly more difficult because just the language and like I say, the false narratives, it got impossible. So even when I found myself end up trying to explain something false versus give out correct information, and that just it didn't make any sense anymore. I will say, and this is thanks to Director Simmons. He's the one behind the scenes doing a lot of our IT platforms. Every morning when I come in, I get about 10 online. Cause we got online submittal form. You can go through the website with issues, and we get them. It routes them to the appropriate department head, and it gets fixed. Even with the app, we still get a lot of use out of the app. Not as much as I would like to have, but we still get the app. Pretty much. It's probably down about 30 or 40 interactions with the app a week now. Used to be in the hundreds. Might be a good thing. Maybe some stuff is, well, I'm gonna say it's a good thing because I feel like things are getting addressed. Potholes. When I first got here, we get calls on potholes every day. For most part, potholes, if you call them in prior to 3 o'clock, they'll be corrected the same day within an hour. Matt's team, our public work director, just does a great job with that. So we're attacking the issues. I just feel like we're attacking the issues. But again, if you got, it's hard when we give out these stats and this data. And of course, if you don't believe it, you don't believe it. There's no way around that. And be honest, I'm not gonna stay on here long because, like I said, I want to be here for those individuals who said we don't listen to them. We're not available. Every commission so far, I think, we had one more town hall to do, I believe, and that's scheduled here for a few weeks. But they're doing multiple town halls. Quite frankly, we didn't have the numbers we wanted at the town hall. I mean, we need to have the full community there for the town halls. And again, you're going to get the most interaction, the most transparency is going to be that face-to-face interaction. So we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to put out updates. We do a weekly report. We do a monthly report. You can text. You can get on the text, email, phone call, service. You have all these ways to communicate if you really want to communicate. So I'll say that. I'm gonna stop too because I've got a question. That's good.
This isn't a question. This is a statement.
Ms. Pond, go to the mic so they can hear you. Okay. The one side planted you in here in the case.
So I've been coming to these meetings on and off, for a couple years now.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've been repeating the same information either online or in the paper or in the meetings or whatever. And I, as a taxpayer and as a citizen of Waycross, am really angry by the fact that the people that work for the city have to waste so much time repeating the same information over and over again. And I think you've been more than generous with the community. I feel like there needs to be a moratorium on how much time these people can waste of the people that we have elected. That's all I have to say. I'm as a citizen of Waycross, I'm so angry about that.
Thank you, ma'am. And that's a great point. I want to follow it up with, and the reason I'm doing this now because, we just passed the budget, and it's probably was the hardest budget to do. I mean, everybody can't see the budget process. I was even thinking about, we talked about it with some directors live streaming us our conversations, but that can come off the wrong way as well. But it's difficult because we're really trying to plan for the unknown. In about 6 months after the election, a lot of things could happen, and I'm being honest when I say I'm worried. The commission they get feedback. It'd be dishonest to say we're not worried. A lot of things could change, and that's why I really want to move away from all this stuff that's not tangible, is false, because they're going to have some very hard decisions to make here probably like January. I mean, once the legislature goes back in session and they make some of these changes, it's going to be some real difficult conversations. And like Ms. Pond is, but we're not going to have time to be talking about my salary, just to be honest with you, because, it's a lot of Senate bills, and even the meetings, I feel like we spoke on it. We've had some GMA reps come, but I'm not sure we've had the impact for people to understand what's being proposed at the legislative level right now, at the state and the federal level. I don't know if that's resonating with everybody, because if it was, I think their attention would be turned to other matters, And I'm gonna say this too. I did talk to some of the commissioners before about some of my statements. So when I say, I'm not calling out our state or federal reps. I am simply saying, there are old questions too. You know, when they come to visit, you should ask them, like, ask them to explain what happens if we are unable to, you know, use our property tax as the primary means of funding for our services. Just ask them what their plan is, you know, because that's something we're trying to figure out right now. And you've heard me say this, and I know it got turned around. Yeah, we're never trying to fire anybody. That wouldn't be the first thing, but we would be cutting down on services. I mean, that's just what it would. I would recommend to the commission, you know, we can't cut. It would be grass and stuff like that initially, but then, you know, even service calls with the police and fire, we would have to start really looking at how we, you know, do services if it's issues with the taxes collected. So these are real challenges, you know, that we're going to be could possibly facing, and I think it's just, you know, because I feel like we care about the community. I know the staff does. I know this commission does. We need to have these other conversations. You know, we got to start having them so everybody understands. You know, the sky's not falling and all those things. You know, I don't want to always say negative, but my job is to be honest with the commission on things. That's why you have the city manager position to give them honest feedback. They ultimately got to make the decision. But again, we have been, like Ms. Pond just stated as an example, we've been so far down on non-tangible items that really don't impact anything that we can't go to these broader conversations and stuff. So that's the goal. Like this will be the last time I ask to address any of this stuff. I mean, I think I've done as much as I could about it. You know, I can't do any more. And again, I saw something today. You're not supposed to agree with, nobody's supposed to agree with everything, you know. We had at the last meeting, if y'all watched the commission meeting, you know, I think one of the commissioners said something to that nature. We ain't supposed to agree on everything, but we're supposed to think together on everything. So, might disagree, but ultimately they got to think together on the right decision for all the residents, because that's their job. And then my job is, once they do that, to execute what that decision is. And I'm trying to ramble a little bit so I can allow folks to put some questions in. But yeah. And again, too, I just want to you know, I see some people coming on viewing now. Go back and look at our slide. We got 13 ways to communicate with the city, but the primary means is to come here and talk to us face to face. Back to the Facebook thing. It's hard to have a conversation on Facebook because first of all, you can't, you know, all of us write different, you know. I'm country. I'm not afraid about who I am or how I speak or what I say. I do got, you know, if you need paperwork to back my intelligence and my experience, you know, I don't like to throw that out there on everybody, but, you know, but when you're writing stuff and you're just having a inaction from text, bubble to bubble to bubble, without any context or any, you know, real conversation, you're not really achieving anything, you know. I go back on my Fridays, and I will say on Fridays when, and I miss that. I like to come up there Friday morning, and residents go on there and just kind of say some things, and, you know, everybody can see it, and then we get it fixed. What we do now, I'm in this uniform now because I come in on Fridays, and I ride around to all the districts. So anything the commissioners have told me that during the week, or text or call, I try to look at it then. All our projects, try to get insight, and I send them a note Saturday, Sunday, you know, hey, this is what I saw, this is what kind of thing. They might respond and say, well, go this direction, stuff like that. So that's still happening. And while we're doing that, we are talking to residents at the same time, because your commissioner told me this, so I'm asking, you know, and then we kind of go from there. So that's still effective because there's still face-to-face communication, and we enjoy doing that. But I'm going to give it 5 more minutes. Does anybody in the room want to say anything else? Ask the question. And I want, again, the people in the room, I mean, like I say, those that are here, they always make the meetings, and they always, I feel like, want to add value to the city. I think they wake up every day and they want to come in and make our city better, and that should be the goal of everybody. All right, yeah. So let me, and a few more points before we'll sign off. So we do not plan to turn the comments back on in any capacity at this time. Unless uh, it's some type of group decision with the commission. Like I said, I don't see it doesn't seem valuable anymore. But for those who need to really understand, like you can come visit, because I had intended to kind of drop on the low side and show some things, but I'm not going to do that. But if you really want to see some of the language that's coming at my staff, just come up through here, and I can show you some of the stuff. Like I said, it has no place in a community or society where everybody's trying to work, live, and play. Those type of comments, especially my workforce. I saw they're saying that that's politics. That's not politics. There's no way in place for politics for that type of language and accusations. Again, you can disagree, and once you disagree, leave your solution, and then we might keep disagreeing, but leave your solution. But just throw out insults and continue insults. Nah, nobody on staff deserves that. These are not. Nobody on staff is a politician. I am not a politician. We all, work for the city. We're employees for the city of Waycross, like everybody else in the city of Waycross that has a job here. So no, we're not here on that aspect. But I'm gonna call it a day, a little bit early. And like I said, we might try this again if need be. But if you need an audience, and it has to be Facebook I always ask you what's behind that. Do you need to be seen? It's a gotcha moment. What is it? Because you could easily, if you really want to say something, you can walk in here and say something. You can call up here and say something. Talk to your commission. All those things. It's all kind of ways to communicate. But if you must be seen on Facebook, I'm just telling you right now. I check it 3 times a week now. I check it on Monday. I check it on Wednesday, and I check it on Friday. Don't check any other time. And then we try to post something every day through our multiple pages. So we got the city page, my page, and each director has a page to give information out to everyone. And with that, to my staff, I tried. I came here again. I tried again, maybe another time. But as always, we appreciate my staff. Some of them was very against this today, and I understood why they were against it. But we have a great team here, a great staff, and I just want to close out. We had recognized the Employee of the Month this week, and you remember what they said. We had at least 12 other people on the staff. Some of them no longer work for the city, but during those hurricane periods, they lost their homes too. So every time you throw them insults and all that, I just feel like it's coming from a place of like really evil. When you got men and women out here, the day of, they had to leave their house to go out here and do. Really, our police, our fire, public works, they don't get the credit they get sometimes. Out here in the storm, protecting, serving, helping the community, and then they get insulted. And in some cases, some of the staff that work in this building was out too. And I would say that's Director Simmons, myself, in my vehicle with my $500 stipend, ride through these power lines and trees not because we have to. We could all sit home, but because we want to, because it's our community, and we're gonna take care of our community, So not asking for a pat on the back, but I am saying recognize all the efforts that these employees do for this city, and hence I will not let them be insulted over social media, because you got other ways to communicate with us if you want to. And with that, everybody have a great day. I'll try this again maybe later on. And for those that came in the room, thank you for coming. I appreciate y'all's support as always, and continue to come to the meetings. And for those in the room, even when y'all disagree with us, I appreciate y'all, because y'all do keep us honest. Even we going down the wrong road sometimes on a decision, y'all bring it back to center. So I appreciate y'all as well. So thank you very much.